Hey, good afternoon. It is a beautiful, beautiful day here in Florida in January, so Happy New Year. Let me just get right to it. A few weeks ago, I dropped a video on my 1969 Mustang, Ole Blue, and I just want to first say thank you so much for all the comments and messages. This is not my comfort zone, so let me just say it was greatly appreciated. But through that, several of you have asked what's some of my projects that I'm planning on doing to Ole Blue coming here in the future. So I decided to do a follow-up video on Ole Blue on my top 5 projects that I'm going to do here in the new year. Now, one thing I'll make note is that I like to do all these projects myself. The last time this car was in the shop was 9 years ago when I installed headers. I just couldn't get them lined out. They kept having exhaust leaks. It would just pop down the highway. So other than that and getting it painted, my son and I, Jordan, we've done all the work ourselves. So in this video, I'm going to list or go over my 5 projects that I'm personally going to do in the new year. So let's get right to it. All right, there she is. And man, like I said earlier, the sun is out today. It's gonna be 65. Now the cold weather is coming. It's actually supposed to get below freezing here in the next couple days. But before I go over the 5 things I'm gonna do, let me just give a quick overview or review what I did last year, which was a couple days ago. I'll make this really quick. I swapped out the wheels. I put American Torque Thrust 2s on it. Those are 14s in the front, 15s in the back. I changed out all the chrome. I redid all that. I freshened up the axle and the differential, pulled it, put all new seals, cleaned it, painted it. I pulled the transmission, all new seals, gaskets, pulled it, cleaned it, painted it. I got the air conditioner working, so I pulled the dash, and that was a job. On the front, I did a little work on the power steering, and I changed out the mechanical fuel pump, the battery, and I changed the oil. I change the oil on this baby once a year, whether she needs it or not. So let's get into it. 5 things I'm gonna do in 2025. The first thing, well, not even I don't wanna go on the list. This is the projects that I've laid out, is I'm going to continue to work on the fuel delivery system. I changed out, well, one other thing I did, I painted the engine bay. I actually did a lot on this thing last year, but I changed out the mechanical fuel pump. I have a box of parts, and it had been sitting in there for 9 years, so I swapped it out, and it made an immediate difference. But what I like to do is convert it to fuel injection. Now, the 2 paths I'm looking at is kind of the old school technology, an electronic fuel pump. It sets in the gas tank, and it just bypasses the mechanical. That runs $200 to $300, or just go full blown with a fuel injection system. I've done a lot of research. I know Holly has one. They run from $1,500 to $2,500. So I'm just gonna take my time and do the research, but my plan is to upgrade the mechanical fuel pump. Second, while I'm under the hood, is continue the refresh of the power steering. Now, over the years, I've changed out the pump, all the hoses, the slave cylinder, and what I'm going to do is just change out all the linkage, freshen it up, tighten it up. You know, it doesn't pull one way or another, but there's some play in the steering wheel. So this year, I'm just gonna get back underneath it and change out rest of the linkage. Third project that I'm going to work on this year is probably the one I'm most intimidated by, because like I said, I wanna do them myself, is change out this soft top. Now, it looks decent. There's no tears or cracks or anything. A few years ago, I stripped it down and repainted it and sealed it. But these tops are notorious about rusting, and there's something going on right in here if you feel it. And what I want to do is just pull this top off, make sure there's no rust, clean it, fix the rust issues, repaint it, and put this top on. Now, I've watched a dozen videos on how to do it. If any of you watching this video have ever replaced the top, I would love some pointers. This is the one I'm really thinking about. Do I need to turn it over to a professional? But if not, I'm gonna attempt it. So project number 3, change out the top. 4 is I have done a lot of work to the brake system. Now right now it doesn't leak any fluid. You push on the brakes, I can take my hand off the steering wheel and it will stop in a straight line. But as I said earlier, I have a box of old parts and a lot of them are brake parts. Now I've changed the rotors. So it's power disc brakes on the front, drum brakes on the back. About 9 years ago, I changed out all the components. But I've probably replaced 80% of the brake components, from the master cylinder to the pump to brake lines, pads. There's a few brake lines, but what I want to do is just pull it all apart, freshen it all up. I've got new calipers. I need to replace one line, but my goal is just finish this job that's taken almost 10 years. Just get the brake job finished. Now, some people have said just go ahead and convert the back to disc, but you know what? For now, I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. But project number 4 is finish freshening up the brakes. Number 5, this is gonna be a little one, but the horn has never worked in this car, never. And I need a horn. I live down here on 30A in Florida, and during the busy season, every once in a while I need the ability to honk at someone from Georgia, let them know I'm here. But just for safety, I'm either gonna figure how to do it on the steering wheel or put a horn button. But when I was painting all this, repainting it, I took one of the horns off. There's one right there. I ran power to it a couple years ago and they do work, but I'm going to change the horn. 2 bonus projects that I might do if I can convince the wife to let me have the funds is, I mentioned earlier working on the AC. Well, as I noticed about a month prior that the dash lights don't work. Now, I don't drive it at night, but I pulled the dash, took all this apart, and I tried to track down whatever was causing the dash lights not to work. And I read and watched every video. I did everything you possibly, and I couldn't find it. I tried to trace it down through the wires, and I finally well, I don't drive it at night, so what's the point? But I might take one more stab at it. And the last project is freshening up the trunk area. I put a new cover in it. It's got a new spare, but whoever owned it back in the day coated it with some undercoating, and it just looks nasty, just grimy. So I'm gonna scrape it all out, make sure there's no rust, and paint it. So guys, these are the top 5 projects I'm gonna do in 2025. What I love for you to do is pop in the comments, what's your projects on your car for 2025? Let's just get something going here. I'd love to hear from you. But again, until then, be blessed, have a great day, and have an amazing 2025. See you soon.